get back in the.
We are now live on Instagram. Now we are live on everything. Welcome back to Deal Flow Live, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a special episode tonight. We are featuring Mr. Grant Barnes, a return guest. He's been on the show before. Very welcome guest to the show. He has a very strong sales background that we'll get into briefly. And we are looking in his home area of Las Vegas.
Wow, I don't know. My home.
One of many home bases. Grant has a business based out of Las Vegas and often goes back and forth between there. And so we're looking in Vegas where he has some roots. He understands the business scene there very well. And we're going to talk about what kinds of businesses it makes sense to buy if you have a sales background, because a little bit of Grant's story to get into here, just as a refresher. He bought a business because he had a sales background in that industry. And so I'll let Grant kind of kick it off by just, telling his story a little bit, and then we'll get into it. Grant, tell us a little bit about how that whole thing went down.
We're talking about the acquisition of the oxygen bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I guess briefly the sales background that went into it and then the acquisition.
Yeah. So I think I told this story briefly on the last one that we did together, but basically I was the guy that harassed you when you went to the mall. Like that was my job. But just to keep it really short, I entered an ad on Craigslist when I was like 17 years old. I was trying to play music for a living. I had a lot of fun with it, but it didn't make any money. And I needed to make money. So I started working at a kiosk, and I got trained by the absolute best in the business. My Israelis brother and sisters out there who taught me sort of the game of harassing people in the mall. And I sold a lot of different products. I sold bed sheets, toys, straighteners, skincare. And then I eventually settled on sort of health and wellness. It was like the niche that just really connected with me more, because I enjoy the game of sales, but I found out that I really wanted to feel like I was doing something ethical. And I feel like a lot of sales guys, when they're in it for a long period of time, they end up going one of two directions. Either they're going to be totally unethical and just like try to sell used cars, no shade to the used car salesmen who are listening to this, but or you try to go like a route that's a little bit more ethical. And so I settled on health and wellness because I liked the industry. I thought I was helping people, and I liked the idea of fixing people's pain. And so years go by doing this, kiosks, traveling the country, sort of like a vagabond lifestyle, just moved wherever the money was. So for a while I was in Tennessee, and then we would find what we called kind of like a honey hole, like just a place to go and like set up a booth for a couple of months. So we'd be, Christmas time in the South, or, we started doing trade shows, looking for stuff, like seasonal events, like Christmas shows and fairs and stuff like that. But I was always sort of selling the same product. And throughout this relationship, I met my current business partner who had been doing sort of the wholesale side of that game. So I was focused on the retail, like direct to consumer, and he was focused on building a brand. It was a really cool sort of melding of the minds, where he had worked on sort of developing relationships with people like me to sell products. Got really excited by this idea, had a great partnership, sort of working together. And this acquisition in Vegas, which is sort of the theme we're talking about today, doing business out there and specifically sort of sales background, they were one of the biggest clients that was ordering our products, right? And they'd been in business for 20 years, I think, at the time. And the original owners were looking to transition out of it. I believe they were opening like a marijuana dispensary or something in Vegas, which obviously does incredibly well. And kind of like you and I've talked about in the past, they were looking to just sort of maybe close the doors. And that seems to be a really common thing with that generation, just like successful business, make a bunch of money, we're done, we're moving on. And my business partner was really sharp, very smart. And instead of letting them sort of close, was like, let us make an offer and see if we can take it over. And so now we've been doing that since we purchased it right before COVID. So that has all of its, I have a whole nother set of stories to tell for that. But we purchased the business in 2019, and we're still running it now, that we've changed and ramped down some of the services that we offered. There was a time when we had extrapolated and blew it up and grown it to a lot of locations between Vegas and then now here in Florida. But yeah, that's sort of the story. So it was like selling the products, being in the space, knowing how much you can make out of that in that industry, seeing someone do it at a really big level in a really huge market like Las Vegas, and saying, why not us? Why couldn't it be us? Why couldn't we do something like that? So it was a great acquisition. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a ton in this process because I was basically a glorified sales manager who turned into a business owner. I had small business all the way along this way and had sort of gotten out of smaller businesses in the process, but never anything of this size. So yeah, that's sort of the origin story, if you will.
So clearly you had like this pre-existing relationship. You also had the sales background. What did you see when you saw this business that you could buy that you and your partner could bring to it? Like, what kind of skill set did you see that you had? Like,
yeah, and that was actually the primary reason I think for the acquisition, is that we observed the business and we had sort of watched over it for a few months during like the due diligence portion, seeing if it really made sense for us. And one of the things that we noticed was that the people who were working there, the employees, they had very much treated this business like almost like a server job. They were, because the business we purchased, for anyone who doesn't know my story from working with you, Brody, is we purchased an oxygen bar and a group of them there in Las Vegas. So if you guys have ever been to Vegas, you've probably seen it. People come there when they're hungover or they just want to do something after. They're looking to sort of increase their wellness, make them feel good, a little pick me up. And they were selling the products that we sold at these trade shows and at the malls, but that wasn't really their focus. Their focus was on presenting a service, just sort of selling the oxygen. They would do sort of a brief massage. They would give you some essential oils, maybe sell you like a drink, like a wellness drink. They weren't focused on the technology, right? So when we looked at this business, we're like, they're doing these great numbers. They've made this very successful business off of predominantly services, right? Like 80% of the numbers are just coming from selling air. And we're like, if we could teach the staff the power of the devices that they have and how customers are willing to pay money for this and how it does impact their life, what would that do to the revenue? And so I think one of the things that we've all talked about in the past, when you're looking at buying a business, is like, what's the immediate value add that makes it worth it? And in this particular case, we had done this business with a little bit of seller financing. So we said, if we were able to sort of create value add immediately in the business, and we were able to create this new revenue stream, then the existing customers, existing business would pay for the seller financing. And now this value add would all be cream on top. And that's what gave us the fuel early on to expand to multiple locations. But I think to answer your question, early on, it was just sort of noticing that the staff was treating it more like a bartender's job and not really like a salesman job. And we had to change the pay plan in order to reflect that. They had no commission. They only had bonuses. They were sharing tips, which was also not very conducive to someone like wanting to really try and sell your client. And so, yeah, I think just as a salesperson's background, I looked at it and said, like, what would happen if we train these people and taught these people, like, hey, there's great products here, like really care about what you're doing with the client and try to sell that. And that ended up working out for us. So
very cool.
Yeah.
And one thing that is really unique about your business too, is that you guys started to have these like spin-off concepts come out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
This is something I've really been interested in just the world of deal making, like acquisitions, starting, buying, growing businesses. Talk a little bit briefly before we get into like our first analysis here, just about like how those came to be. Like, how do you find like opportunities to spin off like another concept off of like a pre-existing business?
So I think the fastest thing for me and sort of what I learned really early on was like, when you have a client, like when you've done whatever it is to get that client, whether it's, if you have an online business, you're advertising, you're marketing. For us, sort of our like customer acquisition cost was in these exorbitant rents that we pay for these like, Vegas Strip front properties, right? You pay so much money, you spend so much time trying to acquire a client in most businesses, right? Just sort of bring them into your world. You really do yourself a disservice by not offering them as much as you can around the world of whatever it is that interested them, right? So like for us, when we got them, we realized really early, like this person that stops for us is a person who cares about their health. They're a person that has some type of expendable income. Otherwise, they wouldn't waste money on a service like this. They maybe don't trust the regular health system. That's why they're looking for like a different alternative experience, right? And through conversation, learned that they're sort of all over, especially in Vegas, they're coming from all over the world. They're coming from different countries, different backgrounds, but they all sort of center around the same concept. So spinning off from that was really just about going, all right, what else do we offer this person? What else are they looking for? Like when they leave here, or if they like this stuff and this works for them, what other things are they buying? What other services are they getting invested in? What other products are they purchasing? And so for me, I sort of started transitioning from being just a sales guy to really starting to work in product development. So I started looking at like, all right, what are things that they would use? What are things they're interested in? What are the things they're asking me about at the bar? They're saying, hey, do you guys have this? Have you seen this? And I think a lot of business owners, I don't want to say they fail at that, but I just don't think they're listening, right? Like I think it's a Bob Iger at Walt Disney. I've used this quote a few times. Like the two people who will tell you the most about your business are your employees and your customers. And that sounds cliche, but it's reality. Like your client will tell you what they want. Are you listening? Are you going to try to go and create that? Can you manufacture that? And I think the big titans of industry that we see really grasp that concept well and then execute it very well too. You know, like you look at Apple, they started making phones. How did they get to be where they are now? I mean, obviously innovation and ingenuity and all the genius behind the people that are working there, but like ultimately the customers were going to get other technology devices, other consumer goods, and they figured out how to build it from there. And then they were like, well, people are on the phones and what are they going to do on the phones? Well, let's start making this app store and how can we collect money off of that? Right. So it's like, I think to answer that question, I think, you know, the concept of spinning off from your original product or service, adding something to that business, bolting something in, it's really about what is it that your client wants? What are they, how do they get access to it? And then how can you be sort of the trusted guide, the trusted, you know, sage advice that pushes them in that direction with your product or service?
That's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is one of like the biggest opportunities for like people getting into deal making. I was talking about this with my friend Andrew the other night, because that's been like how he kind of broke into the space and like started getting a few different streams of income.
Sure.
But I think that's an interesting thing for us to just keep in mind as we're looking at some of these is like, how could you start to sell something else that this business isn't already selling?
Yeah. And I think any business I would look at now, any business you and I have looked at together, it's always been a question of like, all right, what would we do with that once we got it? You know, because if you're buying it for what it is, it's probably an okay deal. You know, it's like buying a property that's kind of like, if you buy a property that's just fully put together and there's probably some room for improvement, but in general, you want ones that you look at and you say, well, if I redid the kitchen, well, if I added a pool, well, I did something, it would increase the value, right? So I think that's a really key factor to folks who might be listening, who are looking at like, maybe I want to purchase a business, I want to get into the games of acquisition, like sort of what can you season it with? What can you sprinkle on? What sauce can you add? You know, hopefully you're not putting spinach and kale and stuff in the marsala sauce, but if you are,
desperate times, man. Desperate times. I don't think anybody looks at me and goes, he knows how to make a masala sauce. So I think they're okay with it.
I actually assumed you did, and that's what was so offensive.
I mean, I do, but I also am like, damn, I need to eat more greens.
Yeah, no,
I'm a child.
Respectful. I feel like I need to try this sauce now just to know. Was it good?
Oh, it's delicious. Yeah, you don't even know they're there. Yeah.
Okay, I can get down with that.
Once you throw the peanut butter in, it's gone. It's good.
What?
Yeah.
Grant and Ryan are about to go have dinner together after this.
Peanut butter.
Yeah, because it's like a peanut butter sauce. Like you've never had like a Thai peanut sauce.
Yeah.
Throwing the peanut butter in there like completely takes it to the. I feel like I should stop talking because I think I'm just digging the hole.
I know. I gotta try this. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So we're gonna go look at Vegas today.
Cool.
And I know that you have a pretty good idea of what people will and won't do in Vegas.
I'm not the like aficionado on Vegas. I want to make that disclaimer. Anybody who's listening.
Well, in the room, in this current room.
This room, I definitely know more.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been to Vegas one time.
Yeah, I've been there way too many times.
I've seen it in a movie.
Yeah. I do have a fairly decent idea of I think like what works there and what doesn't. What's really interesting though, I will say this for anybody who's thinking about the Vegas market. Almost everything works there. That's why almost everything has competition. Like there's almost nothing that doesn't have 100 people trying to do it there because there's just so many people coming to spend money and it's such a small area. I don't know of any other place in the world that's like so concentrated with its like where the foot traffic is going to go besides maybe like Times Square, New York. I mean, I don't know of anywhere else that's like that. Big Ben, maybe in London. Like, where else do you have all these things and like all this stuff in one spot? You know, Vegas is like that. So if you have any of these businesses you'd put, if it's a strip adjacent, you're going to do good. So
a lot of restaurants.
Yeah. And I'll make this disclaimer also. I wouldn't touch a restaurant in Vegas with a 10-foot pole unless you are the chef of all chefs. You have something incredible. You have something super unique. For those of you who have not been to Vegas, my wife and I talk about this all the time. It's I would say, arguably the best food in the world. I don't know of many places that can compete just because there is so much competition for every section of food. You can go from one area and have the best sushi of your life, walk down the street, have the best hamburger, go up the street, have the best tacos you ever had. Because like, what chef who knows what they're doing is not going to want to have a business in Las Vegas, right? So I would not try a restaurant unless you're like amazing.
That's a good point. And in many cases, it's probably going to be like the chef that owns that restaurant.
For sure.
So if you are just trying to buy it to be a cash cow, it's probably going to lose that touch that got it there in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a vape and smoke shop, which I think is kind of the antithesis of your establishment.
Yeah, I know a little bit about. We had a smoke shop.
Yeah, he did have one.
Yeah, it kind of looks like me with more hair. Actually, he looks like he's kind of like.
Oh, you got way better facial than him.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
All right, so we got the round number curse. That's always nerving.
What do you mean the round number curse?
If you like, I don't know, Grant. Like in any of your businesses, have you been like, yes, my revenue is $150,000?
Okay.
Exactly.
I won't say we can't say what we were talking about this about, but
no, I was
this
going to say
is
this is exactly what we're talking about.
We were talking about this with the deal that.
That's a great point, Ryan.
I won't say anymore.
Yeah. Round number. Okay, so 150 grand asking price, and they're claiming the revenue is 150 even. How convenient. FF&E at 50 grand. That's
inventory exactly 100,
and that's way exaggerating. I don't know
so
how
perfect.
big this space is. Does it say how big this is? Because I can tell you, we had a 1,100 square feet. We had a relatively similar footprint, and I would say maximum we carried like $40,000, $50,000 worth of inventory. So this looks like, to me, we can do this one pretty quickly. This looks to me like a guy who is trying to basically just flip his inventory and just try to make a little bit of money on the way out the door, and is maybe behind on sort of his lease or something, and is scared he's going to get kicked. So he's probably just trying to get somebody who else is, someone else big in the area to sort of gulp him up. And he's probably not getting a lot of traction. Otherwise, he wouldn't have put this on Biz Buy Sell, because there's a lot of smoke shops in Vegas. If it was a halfway decent deal at this price, somebody would have gobbled them up already.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah, lease ends 2028. That sounds to me like he just signed it.
Yeah, 2021 is when the business started.
Yeah, so he probably just signed the lease renewal and was like, get me out of here.
Also, shout out to Transworld.
Do they
love their stuff?
They never miss. They're on everything.
Oh, yeah, they're huge.
2 weeks of training. I mean, that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, this feels like an inventory.
Yeah.
Just buy what I got.
Having acquired a smoke shop before, can you wrap your whole head around the whole business in 2 weeks?
Yes, but I don't think this was mentioned here. If you have a rock star operator who's coming with the business,
that is most definitely not here.
Yeah, that's not
owner operated.
Oh,
and he's not coming along.
That's a huge disaster.
Yeah, there's no way
the
with
biggest
this.
thing with the smoke shop. If we have any smoke shop owners listening in here, I'd love to hear your comments. But at least in my experience, was you needed to know, like, you need to have your fingertips on the pulse of like what your clients were buying right now, because the industry, the trends change super fast. Like for a while, everybody was buying Elf bars. Elf was the most amazing. Everyone had to have an Elf, and then it was like Lost Mary, and then Lost Mary went out of business. They go to someone else. So it's like the trend jumps. Then Geek Bar became a big thing. And it's like, if you don't have Geek Bar, like one time, if your customer comes in, you guys have Geek Bars, you don't have it, they'll never come back because you're the place that doesn't have it. So you can play this really ugly game. There's 5 million too, of like trying to keep up with competition and going to the wholesaler and purchasing like 35 SKUs. And then if the trend shifts, now you're sitting on 35 SKUs that'll never sell.
Oh, this sounds awful.
That's why if you go into any real smoke shop today, like a big one, established one, they have so many SKUs that are just stuff that nobody's buying. And then everything that people are buying is just in this one case that's like normally right at the front. And you have to have all of it because you never know who's going to come in and ask for it.
Oh, that sounds truly terrible.
It is. That's why I think he's just trying to flip inventory, because he knows he's not going to sell some of that stuff.
I do enjoy the fact that this is not even a really good picture, because there's an espresso machine in the back. There's liquor bars. This is just a dude with a vape, and this was the smoke shop logo they chose. So, Michael, you need to talk to your client, man.
Yeah, I'd say that one might be AI generated. That looks like
I don't know. We didn't see how many fingers he had.
They're getting good with that now. They're starting to fix the whole multiple hands.
I'm gonna actually post an AI article that I found recently.
Let's check out
from
this vending
BBC.
company.
Oh, yeah.
30-year vending. We were just talking about
$1 million price point. Cash flow is $1 million.
It's a little again.
Oh, that can't be right.
Little
Oh,
even
yeah, no.
number curse. Right?
And also the revenue is the same as the cash flow.
Yeah, what's going on with these? Is that have you guys?
This looks like an owner listing because there's no broker attached.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Oh, and the cash flow is $1 million, but the EBITDA is 400,000.
3
They're
months
just
training
adding
included.
back-
That's good.
They're adding back in their salary that they're paying themselves to run it.
Oh, that makes sense.
2 service step
Well,
vans.
It explains it. It doesn't make
Okay.
sense. That's
a great.
that is not a legitimate claim.
An E350 Ford van for repairs. Is that like repairing the machines, or like if the E350 needs to be repaired? Like I don't
Probably
really
that
know.
also, but I'm assuming it's a person that travels around for repair.
Maybe.
We also have one market set up doing 70 grand a year and 6 more new kiosks ready to go. Also included have coffee brewers and water coolers on location and off. Time to retire. ... Well, listen. Okay. Besides the skewed numbers, all right. Let's take a step back here and just look at the listing. 180 machines on the street. Now, if this is Vegas Street, is that what that? Because I mean, that's the only street.
I guess it must be, yeah.
If he's got 180 machines on the street and it's the Vegas Strip he's talking about, 5 snacks and 5 soda machines in the stores to put on, I actually buy that he's probably producing close to that $1 million in gross revenue. $400,000 in gross profit actually doesn't sound off to me for a vending machine of that size, because for anyone who's been to Vegas, you probably know if you buy a bottle of water in the casino, it's $10. I mean, you can get a chapstick and it's $8. And I'm not exaggerating. Like there is one right now, I go past it all the time in the Venetian Casino in the Grand Canal shops, and I have paid like $12, $15 for like a Red Bull. It's insane. So I don't doubt that when you walk past the vending machine on the strip and it's selling something for even reasonable prices, that they're buying it and that there's still an enhanced markup compared to what they would normally buy the products for. I would give this guy a call. I really would. I give him a call and say, hey, your valuation's full of shit.
Want to give him a call?
Like, hey, buddy, tell me where you got this number from.
Mr. Rick Cole.
We can try it. Here, I'll call him.
Yeah, let me pull up the phone number.
I
This will be
see
a first time
904, right? That's you.
voice only, no SMS. 714.
Okay, hold on.
Although factoring into the Red Bull thing, those Red Bulls are probably cold, which does help the price.
Because you got the warm ones in there.
Yeah, the warm ones don't go for as much.
714. Oh, I see it. 655-7632.
So if y'all are just tuning in, also, hey, back to yourself, Neil Acquisitions. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Neil.
Always happy to have you. If you're just joining in, Grant is giving this business a call.
Let's see if he answers. Not a good, this is why you have brokers. Not a good sign.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not looking good at all for this guy.
Sorry, Rick.
That route is not selling.
It's Coke. It's Pepsi. It's coffee. It's soda man and coffee girl. Thanks and have a happy, healthy day.
Rick, first of all, I have to say, best voicemail ever I think I've ever heard in my life. Congrats on that. My name is Grant Barnes. I'm calling because I saw your listing online for a 30-year-old vending machine company in Las Vegas. Wanted to give you a shout and talk a little bit about your business. Give me a call back at your nearest convenience. Telephone number is 865-321-2915. Thank you.
If you're just tuning in, Grant just left a voicemail for this business.
Soda Man and Coffee Girl, I think is what that was.
That's exactly what that
That's
was.
what
Yeah.
I heard. Yeah.
That's you. I mean, you're gonna have to do the voicemail yourself if you buy it. I think that's part of the deal.
I can't listen. I want to talk to this guy just for free
Yeah.
now. I got to find out what the story is.
Yeah.
Whenever he calls back, I will update the show. So you guys can talk about
You
it.
have to. Yeah,
That's
this is
hilarious.
Cool
Now,
business.
if you've got a sales background, which you do,
Yeah.
running sales teams.
Sure.
You buy a business like this.
What do I do?
A 30-year-old vending machine.
Yeah.
What do you see as opportunities?
Well, so the first thing that sticks out to me is that he wrote in the listing, again, I don't know without talking to him, but he said that it's all located on one street, on one area. So if it's all on the Vegas Strip, that's awesome, amazing. That's probably the best footprint to start with. For me, I'd be looking at how do I get into some of the smaller properties? Because obviously the big casinos, the big hotels are not going to play ball with you, right? But I wonder how many smaller off-strip properties are existing. I would also look at some of the developing areas outside of it. So as a salesperson, what I would be looking to do if I'm going to add value to this is who do I need to talk to and convince or sell my brand idea to, whether it's going to be some type of profit sharing agreement or some type of lease agreement, even where I'm paying them just to lease the space to place the vending machines. But I would look to diversify outside of that one particular area, because Vegas as a whole is growing more to be, there's not enough space on the Strip. Honestly, they're starting to become too busy. So a lot of people are looking for experiences off Strip. So you're seeing a lot of properties open up outside of there. I would look to try to get us into the smaller hotels, smaller convenience areas, anything that I could place this into that's not currently listed, since it's all in this one area. That'd sort of be my approach, is diversifying outside of that one specific thing. Other thing is, what are my customers looking for? If it's all vending and it's just food and snacks, I think one of the really cool things with vending now is that you can kind of vend anything. So like, why have we tried vending like medicine, like, first aid stuff, like Tylenol, liquid IVs, like all the stuff that people are buying. Yeah, you could do a vape vending machine, pizza vending machine.
Don't.
I know how much you love the pizza vending.
Just don't. Just stop this.
Yeah, there's we can do whole pizzas.
No.
People get a little bite on the Strip.
I'm not.
Throw it in a little
not,
microwave.
Nope.
The cupcake vending machines. Like, I would see, especially with something as established as this. Oh yeah, now we're really cooking. Because now I would actually think I would also try to be looking at making relationships with some of the major like innovators in the space. So the guys that are doing the pizza vending machine, whether you like it or love it, would he want a space on my 180 machine route that I have that he's not currently on? Can I work a deal like that? I think with that type of legitimacy from being that old of a business, 30 years old in Vegas,
with employees ready to service the route,
you've got some weight to throw around. So I would think I'd look for other things I can vend, look for other relationships I can develop, look for agreements with innovators in the space, and that's it.
I like it.
That'd probably be my approach if I was doing something with this. By the way, I love vending machine businesses. I don't know how you guys feel about them. What do you think about the business?
Oh, they're fantastic. It's just low risk.
Yeah.
It's like aside from managing the employees for a large route like that, like you don't actually have to think about the operations of the business very much. It's just kind of services itself.
Yeah.
The service is so replaceable too. Like, it's literally, hey, are you available to go just check the machines and restock them? You don't have to deal with people dealing with people at all. It's and in some cases, I mean, especially if you just owned one yourself, if you had like a nice vending machine route, all you would have to do is literally go collect from them.
Yeah.
You could probably run that business yourself. Actually, there's so many of them for one that size. It might be that they need the employees just to manage it all.
Yeah,
but
that's 180 machines is insane.
That is a lot.
He probably has an army servicing that.
Mm-hmm. It said 3 employees.
Wow,
so,
that's it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But it sounds like he's paying them a lot too.
Yeah, he'd have to be.
Yeah. I mean,
he said time to retire with the ... which I would imply is that he is also probably running that route
be on
himself.
the route.
Yeah.
So
I think he probably is.
Coffee Girl might both be on the route, and then they have 3 more employees. There's something to me that's just like, I feel like you're contributing to the nostalgia of the human experience by owning a vending machine. And I love stuff like that. Like, is there any, maybe it's just me, but there's just such a special feeling about getting like peanut M&Ms out of a vending machine when you're just like, nothing else going on. Like, if you're stuck in like trying to get your tires replaced, and you're in the vending, you're in the office, there's a vending machine that sells all types of good stuff. It's just heartwarming. You're so happy it's there.
The vending machines were like the water cooler for us during our MBA program, because there was like
there's something about the vending machine experience when it's at the right place where you really need it. I just feel like I would love to have a business like that,
You might next time you come on if Coffee Man and Soda Man and Coffee Girl.
I will say this. There's no way in the world I would pay $1 million for a vending machine company of any size. I couldn't wrap my head around that. Especially not one I don't know that it's doing $400,000 a year clean. I would say the numbers aren't probably far off, but it's going to be a tough sell. he'd have to come off that number quite a bit. But
I'd be curious to see what it actually is doing, because it says EBITDA $400,000. Yeah, there's something wrong there. It's just, it can't be accurate numbers. I feel like with 3 employees and them servicing it, maybe the EBITDA is like factoring in for their salaries that they're paying themselves or something. That would be my guess.
Thing like he's gonna throw it on at the end.
Yeah, maybe they're paying themselves like a salary of $100K a piece or something, and then they've got employees all. Imagine making like $100,000 a year as an employee just to service vending machines.
I would do it.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, sounds like
that could be what's happening.
Sounds pretty low stress.
What are we looking at now? Las Vegas camper.
One that I got excited about was a Las Vegas camper van rental company for sale.
What excites you about this, right?
Well, Las Vegas has access to some of the most beautiful parks and stuff, and
100% true.
You know very well because you frequently go out there when you can to go and experience that. So I thought this is, like you said, on the same vein of getting off the strip, finding off the strip experience.
Yeah.
What better than to go do like a hike or a nature experience?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I love how wholesome this is compared to most businesses that are going down to Las Vegas. So this is great. And you make a great point. I think people do not respect actually how much incredible, beautiful nature is around Las Vegas. Everyone knows about the Grand Canyon. Everyone's like, oh, when you get there, there's a lot of advertisements for the Grand Canyon. But
the Hoover Dam.
Yeah, Hoover Dam. Yeah.
Joshua Tree's not far.
Joshua Tree. I'll say Joshua Tree's whatever. It's just a flat land. There's not a whole lot going on out there. But sure. I mean, I know why people get there. But as far as like stuff to see, that little border between Utah, Arizona, Nevada is like incredible. And so, yeah, business like this would be super.
I don't know where this is in Vegas, but that looks like a fun place to go.
I'm going to guess Lake Mead. I'm going to guess that's what I'm looking at here because it looks like it's surrounded on all sides. So I'm going to guess that's.
I do like how they're giving real life pictures from like, I guess, some of their vans and like, how it actually looks inside. So that's actually really cool.
So what are we looking at here? Asking price 325. We like that. Cash flow 120. That's not a crazy multiple. Inventory 210 grand. So I'm guessing they're considering that as like the vehicles.
That would make sense.
The value of them, right? EBITDA 62,000. Now, how do you think we're getting that number, Brody? How do you think we're getting EBITDA 62 grand on cash flow 125?
I think that the owners are paying themselves a salary of some kind there. Like there's a salary that's coming off of that cash flow, if you would.
He kind of writes it there in bold right in front of me, doesn't he?
Oh, see, 100K annual net for owner operator absentee. This is one that I would love to do because I obviously not living in Vegas.
Yeah.
This is an owner absentee business where it's like, yeah, it's worth the money to pay somebody to get it, be doing that. But it's such a wholesome business.
Yeah.
And they probably, I would imagine, have a pretty good net. I mean, they're from 2021, so it's younger, but they probably have some network of people who repair their vans and stuff. And I mean, in a business like this, depreciation and insurance is your biggest cost. But it seems like a fairly straightforward thing. And I feel like, people aren't going to be wrecking too many vehicles in Vegas if they're going for a camper van.
Well, they're probably not wrecking it, but there's a lot of people wrecking into you. That's chaos for that. Insurance is probably the biggest problem for them, but yeah, I love this too. I think customers of the Grand Canyon, Zion, Bryce Canyon, Sedona, Lake Powell, Joshua Tree, Death Valley, all the great treasures of the Southwest USA. He said, you set everything up for us, basically. For the past 5 years, optimized this business to be streamlined and operated either remotely or as an owner-operator for larger profit. Okay.
Boys, we want to buy this?
Yeah. It's interesting. What's interesting, though, is I wonder, because, most times we've discussed how, like, stuff that gets to Biz Buy Sell hasn't, like, sort of didn't pass the locals market. Like the local brokers or whomever you would reach out to on stuff like this didn't want it. It seems like something that would be fairly easy to operate, and the asking is not crazy. I wonder why they're struggling.
It's not always the case either. That is usually the case if like the business is bigger than this,
right?
But it might just be such a small business that it's like they just went straight to the listing. There's also some lazy brokers.
True.
There's plenty of lazy brokers that like will just take it straight to the listing, and that's all they do. There's some brokers whose like their model is more just like get as many listings as I possibly can, put them all on listing sites and just see what bites. It don't really do much outreach.
That's a great point.
So it could be that.
something I just saw in this that I love. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it says that about 60% of the bookings or 60% of the revenue comes from direct bookings on their website. I love that.
Their Google ads are kicking then.
Crushing.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. And I'll tell you why. Because in Vegas, one of the sort of unsung heroes of business there is cross-marketing. Because a lot of companies pay referrals or kickbacks on stuff for bringing them clients because customer acquisition is so expensive in that area because there's so much competition.
I could see that.
So if I'm getting 60% of my revenue from direct bookings, people are coming to my website organically. I wonder if they've explored, we probably could check it out actually if you check their website, any cross-marketing opportunities, because I bet there's a lot of other experience-based, adventure-based kind of businesses.
Find it. I would look at the pictures first and see if you can find like a name on one of the vans. There's a video. Play it.
Run it.
If you're looking for the best affordable Las Vegas camper van rental, you found it. I'm John and I stock my vans with absolutely everything that you'll need to just show up, grab the keys, and go. With my camper vans, you get a couch that easily converts to a super comfortable bed for two people. Sheets, pillows, blankets, sleeping bag, or sleeping bags, a sink with running water, solar power, a charging station, refrigerator, roof box for your luggage, cubbies for your food, clothes, and electronics, an awning, camping chairs, a table, cookware, stove with fuel, dishes, silverware, condiments, paper towels, an outdoor shower, towels, cleaning supplies, trash bag, magnetic privacy curtains, insulation, and best of all, it's all ready to go, waiting for you in a super easy to drive camper van that fits into any regular parking spot. And it gets double the gas mileage of those other vans out there. With me, you get it all in one package. I focus on quality, which is what makes my camper vans perfect to explore Zion, Grand Canyon, Bryce, Lake Mead, Death Valley, Valley of Fire, Red Rock Canyon, Joshua Tree, and all the other awesome places within striking distance of Vegas. After booking, you'll get a complete set of training videos and PDF instruction manual so that you can arrive fully confident knowing how everything works. You can just grab the keys and hit the ground running. I'm 10 minutes from the airport. If you're still skeptical, just check out all the reviews for my vans. Or you can just trust me as a lifelong van camper, backpacker, Mount Everest climber, and 7 Summits mountaineer when I tell you that with all that experience, I am 1,000,000,000% confident that I've stocked absolutely.
Long video.
That's a long video. Did you see the beginning though? Because he had his logo up there. I think we can find the website. The whole reason we were doing this was to find the website. Okay, it says Vegas. Honestly, I bet if you just search Vegas camper van rental,
we know what the logo looks like.
Yeah.
Hang on, I think I actually saw it.
Welcome to the sleuthing portion of the episode.
We gotta
Vegas Campers.
Vegas Campers, good, incredible name.
Amazing. We gotta work.
The
on
SEO is dialed.
Boys. We need to put the TV here. I'm just saying, because I got a crick in my neck already. Maybe I'm too old for this, but like I'm like this. I feel like I'm hurting.
4.7, 43 Google reviews.
Have other guests mentioned anything about?
No, but it's I see the concern.
Most of our guests are we have a lot of under 30 coming in live.
Have a lot of under 30. I know that's a lie. I've seen these videos, man. So this is him. VegasCampers.com. Perfect. Love the name. And what a great domain.
Up right off the rip. 5 Oh,
now,
good.
Here's something interesting because we've talked about kind of like non-digital sales strategies so far. What are you seeing like as a digital sales strategy here that got you so excited? Explain that a little bit.
Oh, like why am I excited about the idea of it?
Yeah.
So what I was leading to a second ago was the cross-marketing opportunities, meaning like when someone comes here, like we were talking earlier about where else does my customer go? What else are they interested in? What other things can I sell them, basically, right? When you are looking at a business like this that is mostly online, it seems like, and they're getting most traffic directly to their own website, the question becomes, what other things does this client want? And what other experiences could we sell them? If we can sell them other experiences, even if we don't personally offer them, right? If we're just partnering with other people in Las Vegas who are doing experiences, we might be able to make referral credit, referral money, have some other arm of the business that's being serviced by a completely different business. and just using our existing traffic. So like, have you ever noticed when you go to book a hotel or something now on Priceline, the first thing that happens after you book it, it says, how about the car? Right? Well, how about the flight? Well, how about the experiences while you're there? Well, don't you want to go see this show while you're doing this? And they get this concept already. So you could sort of do like a miniature version of that with this, but I would just niche down and go specifically to like the outdoorsman, the outdoorsy crew. So like the second they book the camper, for instance, I'd be trying to upsell on the experience wherever it is that I think they're going. So I would make them put in like have some type of field for where they're going to travel to. They may already have it. But like when I booked it, I would have a field like, are you going to go to Bryce Canyon? Are you going to Zion? Are you going to Grand Canyon? Whatever. The second that they click it, it should give them suggestions afterwards for, hey, let's sell you an experience. Let's sell you some other service out there and create more revenue from there. And from what I'm seeing at first glance, it doesn't seem like he's doing that.
I think that's a great call. And then basically it's just a little check box. Like you just check the ones that you are interested in doing, and then it's got little like excursions you can book.
And honestly, depending on because it seems like the amount of bookings he's got are small enough. If it were me, if it were sales guy trying to buy a business like this, my first step would be I would have myself or whoever's on my sales team calling immediately after booking or relatively soon after booking to confirm. Hey, saw your thing come in, Brody. So excited for this trip for you. Tell me about what you're doing. Where are you going? Right? Talk to me about this experience. Why are you guys coming out here? And then I would probably be trying to sell some type of boutique-y, personalized experience that I can upsell the shit out of you for. That's what I would do. So like if you're going to give me $600 for the week for this van, you're already a different type of person because you're not renting from, Priceline or renting from whoever. Like you have a very specific thing in mind. What else are you going to do while you're out there? What else are you going to spend on? And how can I capture that?
You're the type of person that wants to go find unique experiences and excursions. That's like the whole reason why we did it.
So how do I sell you that? Right. So my thing is I partner with 10 different experience providers in all these different areas, which is a simple partnership because they want the traffic. I come to them and say, hey, I've got this website that I'm getting all this traffic through these bookings through. Right. And I want to send you clients. What does it look like? If I send someone to you to go explore the Grand Canyon and it's a $5,000 package with you, helicopter tour, whatever, what's your kickback look like? And then I would just be trying to make those sales in every person that comes through. And then that's just free revenue, easy bolt on, easy add on value to the company, and makes that asking price a lot easier to swallow. So
I like it.
That's what I would do.
I think that's the optimal way to go about this.
Yep. Love it. Very cool business.
So I think we found Grant's booking a flight to Vegas right now to go buy these two businesses.
Well, mostly I love this business in particular because I love all those places that they have listed.
And I know you love a business that's like a excursion based or like
love it.
Something like that.
It's recession proof.
We've talked about something like that.
It's recession proof. People are not going to stop traveling to Vegas. And in my experience with Vegas in particular, people are starting to get, when I say people, I mean people who have gone there more than once or twice, they get kind of sick of the casino thing. They go to the casino, you spend $1 billion. They don't want to gamble. They don't want to drink. I feel like, and actually, I think the data supports me on this. Like alcohol sales across the country have just plummeted.
Yeah, it has been. Actually.
In like the last decade or so, it's like a huge problem.
Mocktails are up, which is weird.
Well,
no, that makes sense. People want to have the experience of like having a drink, but they don't want to have the alcohol.
Right.
I'm drinking less than I used to.
Yeah, well, not me.
Same.
I drink the same as I've always drank.
I mean, so do I. I'm drinking the same as I always have too.
Yeah, nothing's changed. If anything, I'm drinking more. So I'm probably keeping the numbers alive. That's a different story though. But I think in general, people are looking for more, like they're looking for other experiences. They're looking for other ways to like get their high, if you will. Right. And I think we've seen that shift post-COVID. Right. We see a lot of people super into health, super into fitness, super into outdoor activity. So yeah, I feel like businesses like this, where it's excursion, outdoor adventure type stuff, I just feel like that's going to boom in the next 10, 15 years, especially as like our generation has more kids and they just like want to go out there and like start showing them stuff across the world. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
With everything else getting more expensive, these affordable ways to go out and experience stuff is definitely going to be more appealing. Also, just want to shout out to Fully Operational Cannabis Dispensary Business. Call for offers November 8th, selling for $420,000 and $420. I see you guys. That's awesome.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, that is great. Yeah. They're probably doing great business, I'm sure.
The only thing though, Ryan, I would say is that if they are, that number is egregiously low.
They're targeting that number for a certain type of someone to call them.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they say they're taking offers, I think that means that that's not even their price.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's not even close.
Although I will say, cannabis sales in Vegas have taken a hit in a lot of ways because there's so much competition now, and the big big guys have so much private equity money thrown at them to get those businesses off the ground. They're not getting the returns they're expecting, so that market is changing. People also just don't want to pay like crazy money for the stuff that they're getting out there.
No, it's really hurting the local shaman business.
I haven't met any local shaman.
Oh, there was one who was at my high school. He wore a coat with like the fur lining, and we'd always,
Are you sure he was a shaman and he just wasn't disturbed?
Yeah, no, his name was Sam, but he was a shaman. That's what we saw.
Sam the shaman.
Sam the shaman. He always had what you needed.
Rhymes.
I don't think we should hone in on this one any more than we have, but I just want to call out this $84,000 cash flow company that's for sale for $2.5 million.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Iconic Las Vegas Harley Davidson and custom motorcycle shop.
I was talking with somebody about this day. They were like, yeah, motorcycle. Like they were talking to some people about getting into motorcycles, and they were like, oh, you're gonna get a Harley, and it was his dad, and he was like, hell no. He was like, God, how to get a Harley? Those things are hideous. And his dad was like, what? They're the coolest things ever. And he's like, I don't think anybody in like the millennial and under age group wants
to Harley is cool.
Yeah. They're getting like BMWs, Indians, like all the classic stuff.
Ducati's made a huge comeback.
Yeah. God bless Ducati for sticking it out.
Yeah, honestly, because I remember when I was a kid, my neighbor had Ducati, and my dad kind of shit on the bikes because he's a bike guy. He was like, Ducati, oh, that's crap. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. They can't compare it to all these other things. And I remember looking, I was like, I think that's a cool bike. And now you look forward now, and Ducati's a huge, I mean, they've always been a big name, but they are less than like a niche market now. Like a lot of people are going for them,
Yeah, and then Indian with their classic
Indian too came back. Yeah, Indian came back big time.
Harley Davidson tried to do a rebrand a couple years back and got a lot of backlash from their existing customer base about it. So they walked it back.
And went back to this classic thing. Okay, can we just for a second though? Can I just see this listing because I have to understand?
Sure.
How
do you justify a
$2.5 million?
Yeah. What is the math on that roughly? It's over a 25x multiple.
Oh no! Hold on, guys. It includes an eBay store. Forget it. This must be. This is probably good.
The eBay store,
the eBay store, and the NHTSA manufacturer permit. There's the 1.25 million I was looking for.
A permit?
I'm just blowing smoke.
Sorry, I'm reading. That's why I'm so silent here. I'm trying to take a look at the.
I mean, yeah, you do repairs.
There's nothing in the top section there that could possibly come close to justifying anywhere near that.
The rent's cheap. I mean, that's the one thing I'll say. The rent's super cheap for Vegas. I don't understand though. Is this a Harley Davidson store or it's a store that just services Harley Davidson?
It's a motorcycle shop, but it's an iconic Las Vegas Harley Davidson and custom. So is it the only do custom Harley Davidsons, or they do? I mean, the eBay store. I don't know how that is bringing 84,000 to 2.5 million.
So it says it's all inclusive motorcycle services and manufacturing, including Harley Davidson customs and repair. So it's not a Harley Davidson shop. They just do custom Harley Davidsons there if you want them. And they'll do repairs, collisions. I don't understand why they're doing so poorly.
David, what are you doing?
How is your gross revenue on a place like this $366,000?
David, who represents this business, explain yourself.
Wait. Due to the highly confidential nature of this business sale, in addition to the high level of interest, my ass, all buyers will need to sign an NDA and fill out buyer profile prior to receiving additional information about the business. So okay, here's the only thing I can think of. Maybe the business is doing a lot more money and they can't show it for whatever reason. Maybe there's like behind the scenes handshake deals, something that's like not on this particular business, and the only thing that he can legally show is the gross revenue numbers from the company, and that's why they want all this stuff in secrecy, because then once you sit down and look at it, maybe it makes more sense. I would hope it makes more sense.
Why even list a business like that then?
Because you can say it's the one and only Harley Davidson shop in Las Vegas. I think that's what he's leaning on.
Yeah, they're kind of pointing to the celebrity customers, several TV shows. So it's been on Pawn Stars and any show that has Chopper in the name. Global customer base. I mean, it's an international port, so I guess if you have people from all over the world, but I don't get it. This seems like a hard sell even for somebody who had an existing shop as an add-on, which I think is the ideal person for this.
Yeah, could be. Could have been also that the business did really well for a super long time when that whole theme was popular. Like when you saw the stuff on, History Channel with all these different customs, TV shows. And then maybe now that market sort of died down, the business is dying too. They think to get out of it. That would also make sense.
And they think they're going to get out of it for $2.5 million.
Well, it's Vegas.
Buddy.
I've seen crazier things.
Could happen.
I mean, in Vegas, you can turn 84K into 2.5 million.
Well, it depends
It's
on which
possible.
slot machine you go to.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's the actual key here. They've got the books cooked somewhere.
That's what I said.
They've got they've got like a ticket that they can put it on. They know they can put it on black with that 86,000 and turn it into 2.5 million.
Maybe.
The only thing that makes sense here.
Nothing else really does make sense here.
Yeah,
They've
Dave
got a
and
one-time
Brian, you need to
fix.
explain yourself with this in the most NDA friendly way because this is insanity.
Well, sign the NDA, buddy, and then maybe you'll find out.
I don't want to sign that.
I'm not
NDA.
filling out an NDA for this.
I mean, who are you going to tell?
Probably everybody. Actually, yeah.
About how dumb the deal was?
Yeah, on my one social media profile that has barely anybody on it. Yeah.
Has like 100 people and your Aunt Gertrude on there,
Should we look at one more?
Yeah, what time is it? We got time?
7.
Yeah, we can do one more.
Last one.
Last one of the evening.
Quick little pop in.
Do we have there's any questions tonight? No, nobody's shooting any questions at you?
We did not have questions.
Probably because
No, it's been quiet.
Since I came on, they were like, I'm not listening to this guy.
Well, when you were at the CES, we had a lot of people asking questions to you at CES. So
That's
we got to
true.
send you back to
Yeah.
a trade show.
I think when I'm live and in the shop, I think that brings a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing out there?
Let's
I'm
go
like
back to
recording live.
tried and true, boys.
Oh,
Full
Oh,
service
live.
air conditioning and heating company out
in
there.
the hot Las Vegas.
and look
Very competitive.
Look how
price.
wonderful it's priced. This is a guy who understands his business.
Mo and Andrea or Andrea, you guys know what you're doing.
You guys know what's
Kudos.
up. We like you.
Look at this
guys.
lovely two individual people.
Look, they even posted the business permit. Wow. Talk about transparency.
This is professionalism.
That's less than a 2 times multiple too.
Yeah, honestly, somebody give this guy a call. That's a buy immediately. That's a buy. You're in Las Vegas, guys. If anybody hasn't been in Nevada, it's hot, very hot, like stupid hot, and it's dry, so you need air conditioning. Yeah, that's a great business.
Although as a future guest of our show and very dynamic HVAC broker said, Patrick Lang or Lange, we'll ask him how to say it before he comes on the show. If it was so easy to grow your business with all these ideas, why aren't you doing it?
It's a great
And that's always the point. I think,
Yeah.
when they say, oh, they have all this opportunity for growth. Well, why didn't you do it then?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. But I think even then, the fundamentals of this business are sound.
Oh, I agree. I
You
just
know.
always think when people are looking at businesses, it's one of those things where when I see those words, I'm like, well, if it was easy,
Where does it say something on this one for that about like
primed for growth,
prime for? Well, I mean,
which is,
look, Ryan, you're not going to sell a business and say, "Hey, this thing's not going anywhere."
well, I wouldn't. I just give the numbers. It speaks for itself.
But I mean, I think it's a little implied in the sales pitch. Like you kind of have to say,
Support
like,
in trading 10 business days.
outstanding. That's all you need.
Yeah.
We'll give you a week and some change.
Not the
yeah, not
weekends,
those
though.
other 4
Not
days
the
are too
weekends.
much. You
Not
have to pay for
weekends.
those. Yeah.
Residential service contracts are in place. Annual commercial contracts also in place.
This is a steal.
Well, it's honestly a steal. Home-based business is the only thing that maybe is like making it a little bit less attractive to some people.
Look, I
Seller
had to
is
try and find
active.
something to make this less sexy than it is. Like I tried to do something, I didn't even land that well.
Seller is active though, so it's not owner absentee.
Oh, okay. So
So
that might
It's
be-
home-based.
Yeah, that might be the non-attractive portion.
Well,
is that
it
might
is
be all
home based
the
though, so like
employee.
you're just kind of maybe you could do it remote.
Maybe you're buying the book of business.
Mm,
Maybe that's the key here, is that the guy who had the business is just selling the book and doesn't really have any employees or people in place.
no, he's
it does say 3 employees.
3 employees.
full-time.
Yeah.
Well, then this is a no-brainer. If you're in Las Vegas and you have a little bit of money, you got 2 pennies to rub together, buy this business.
Yeah, your debt services on this is going to be what, like
Yeah.
35 grand a year
Yeah.
if you do an SBA loan.
Grand a year.
Somewhere right around there.
with interest, maybe a little more. But
Yeah, maybe like
maybe like 45.
yeah,
But still,
not even. I don't think.
so.
I think probably 40 though.
I was gonna say, yeah,
40 grand.
grand spread out over 10 years.
Oh, with the working capital and everything.
Plus 13% interest,
Yeah.
give or take right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 10.5
10.5
for the SBA.
And
yeah.
it's almost
That's
10
what we
years
have
old.
on.
Good established business.
You know?
Go buy this thing.
Yeah, I would buy it.
What's the reason for leaving? Is it retirement?
So the
Other
service-
business
even if the
interests.
debt service is $45K a year. You're gonna service $45K a year, but you would still have over 200 left over. Then you hire an operator for like 60 grand. You're cash flowing like 150 after debt service and paying an operator. This is a good business.
Yep, I love it.
Someone in Vegas, buy this business.
Buy it. Just go crazy with it. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with a good HVAC company. Las Vegas market's never going to die. You're probably going to have a lot of competition, but I mean, the guys obviously figured out a way to make this much money. Numbers aren't bad. Price is priced right.
Let's drop one quick dime on the sales strategy side to carry us out.
On the HVAC, wow.
Should be top of mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would go low.
Don't give away any of the good
I
stuff.
won't give away too much stuff, but I think low hanging fruit here on this is what other systems can be installed for long term maintenance. So there's a lot of popular systems out there right now, like UV lighting installed to help to kill bacteria and stuff in the systems. There's also one that we were made aware of recently that's supposed to help to purify the stuff that comes through it. Zero purification
Remy.
systems are big. Yep. I think the other one that's kind of slept on the HVAC side is smart home integration. The smart thermostats save a lot of people a lot of money, and it's a really kind of easy install, and it's not very difficult to do.
They just put one in our house.
Yeah, and you can charge quite a bit, I think, in the process for like you can wrap it into the sale. Yeah, I think also on the service side, I think if the guy doesn't have a decent membership program, that's probably also a really simple one. And yeah, and then I think if he has these annual commercial contracts, what other stuff do the commercial clients need? What other stuff can we offer? Can we cross sell it all there too? Can we talk to our electrician friends, our plumber friends? All these businesses need something. Can we make referral money? That would probably be the quickest way I'd see to add some value as a salesperson to that.
Love it.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Guys, what was your favorite business tonight?
Probably the 420 medical cannabis system. No, in all seriousness, I want to talk to Soda Man and Coffee Girl.
The vending machine routes.
I mostly just I want to know who's the character behind this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
more than anything.
That was a good voicemail.
Any person who has that and it was clearly like an at home done.
Yeah.
They're just chilling in their house, like, babe, I'm gonna do the voicemail for the business today. And she's like, okay, good luck, honey. He's like, hello. Like, I think that's great. I just want to know who this guy is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, what about you?
I have to go with camper vans. I love the
I like
concept. I love the
camper
fact that
vans.
he strategically wrote everything out and kind of laid out how he built it to be this kind of like easy buy type thing. So I'd love to see that sort of scaling. And how about you, Brody?
It depends what my goal is. I'm gonna say the camper van business because my first thought is always like, how can I crank the digital channels
Sure.
on these businesses?
Yep.
And so when I heard that they were getting like 60 grand a year or 60%, I think it was, of their traffic just
Direct
through
to the website.
organic
Direct to the website.
online,
Yeah,
direct to the website. All I hear is like, you can crank that way more. Like,
100%.
you can just keep cranking that. I think there's so many like cross-selling opportunities like you were talking about.
Yep.
I think that's one that the vending machine business you buy for like it's not going to fundamentally change.
No,
very
it's gonna
much.
be
You're-
the same. Yeah.
You're just going to keep it and like steady it. The camper van one, I see something that you could buy it and just crank it
Yeah.
and make some really good money on it.
Yeah, that's a great business. I love that idea. Good
Sweet.
stuff.
Well, thank you for joining Deal Flow Live tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed this sales talk and some of the businesses that we've looked at. Any parting tips, gentlemen? Anything you want to leave the audience with?
I mean, the biggest thing I saw with a lot of these tonight was just like, prepare your listing a little bit better. Make your listing a little bit more like,
If you're selling your business,
yeah, especially if you're doing it yourself. If it's almost like when people try to sell their house themselves and they don't like hire a real estate agent, and it's just they talk about all types of junk that has nothing to do with the property. Like, Give me facts in the business and get out. And also give me hard numbers. Like what these crazy, just like we think this is what we're making, just screams you have no idea what it's worth. So my tip would be now on the other side of that coin, if I'm the buyer potentially, I feel like that does give us quite a bit of room for negotiation. Because like if I can call in and know immediately like your numbers are BS and sort of force that out of you. Well, I think I'm doing $1 million a year, but I don't know. Okay, have you had evaluation? No. Can we get one done? Right, probably gives us more bargaining chips. That's probably the easiest advice I would have for this evening.
Could be a good strategy for us to sell some more valuations. We just called listings with bad numbers and say,
I think this is almost like the book of of future clients, pretty much.
True. We could just spend a lot of time scrolling through this.
Yeah.
Say like, hey, are your numbers real?
I already spend hours a week on these sites, so I'm pretty familiar with it at this point.
Calling them.
I mean, look.
What was it that Patrick Lang said? He said you got to just.
Oh yeah, if it was so easy if there was so much growth potential and opportunities for growth, then why haven't you done it? Something to that extent, where it's that sort of super overly optimistic. Here's your future growth plan they lay out sometimes in these things. While a discerning buyer will figure out a growth plan. It's like, if it was that easy and it was as simple as you were making it, you would have probably done it. And then there was a good comment that said simple, yes, easy, no.
Great. Yeah.
So it's always important.
We say there's no shortage of great ideas, but there's a huge shortage of great execution. And that's kind of it. I mean, most people have great concepts in their business, but they just don't do anything with it. So it sort of goes on that same track. But yeah, that's what I would leave the audience with this evening.
I love it. Get out there and execute, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
And if you're trying to find Grant, where's the best place to find you?
Probably Instagram. It's ask_Uncle Biz. My employees used to call me Bizzle, and then it was Uncle Bizzle because I was the older one for all of them. So that one stuck.
I always just thought it was like shortened for business, like your Uncle Business.
That, but it just stuck. They used to call
me.
It
works.
It was all types of Bizzle, business, busy, and it was just like I was like, whatever. We're gonna put them all together. Uncle Biz just kind of stuck. So
I like it.
Easiest place to find me.
The uncle with the gray and the beard.
Yeah, it's starting to happen a little prematurely. It's quite a bit of gray. I'm not that old, but I could be somebody's uncle. I feel like.
Ryan, where's the best place to find you?
Find me on LinkedIn on Ryan Santo on LinkedIn. Just shoot me a message if you want to connect. And Brody, where can they find you in all those places?
You can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram. That's the best place to message me. But you can find me just about anywhere. YouTube for longer videos. And we will see you every week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Deal Flow Live. See you on the next one.